Hello, I'm Dr. Sam and this is Dr. Sam's Health. In my last video, I've been talking about how important it is to be able to set goals and how important it is to use the right tools when you are setting your goals. I mentioned something that is called SMART goals, and today in this video I would like to talk about this tool in detail. The tool is simply amazing. By saying simply amazing, I mean that it's very simple to use, very easy. You just have to do 5 simple steps, and it's really amazing because it can lead you to very good results in a very cost-effective way. So, talking about the tool, it was introduced in I think 1980 by George Doran into the field of management. So originally this tool was designed for managers to help them prioritize things, to help them set the goals for their managerial units and so on. And later on this tool was so effective and so popular that it was adopted in other fields of human activities like medicine, like psychotherapy. And I was actually introduced to this tool as part of a psychotherapy routine. And I would like to actually say special thank you to the people who introduced me to this routine. They know who I'm talking about, and I just really wanted to acknowledge their contribution. Thank you guys, actually ladies, all 3 of them. So, the tool. SMART is actually an acronym that can be spelled out differently just because the tool is quite old. I'll go over different spellings. The first 2 letters, S and M, stand for specific and measurable. I like talking about these 2 letters or 2 attributes together because they actually very complementary. You'll see in a second why. So, when we're talking about specific, we mean that every time you set a goal, your goal must be very specific. So if you want to lose some weight, you have to be specific. I want to lose that much weight. If you want to gain some muscle, you want to be specific. I want to gain some muscle, meaning like several pounds, for example, like 10. When I'm talking about it, I'm also automatically using some sort of measures. That's why I'm saying that it's very difficult to have a specific goal that would not be measurable. So every time you set a goal, it must be specific, and also you must be able to measure it. Just to entertain you, it is still possible to have a specific goal that is not measurable. And that would be, for example, wanting to look like some celebrity. You have this picture of this celebrity or even a video of this person, and you know exactly how you want to look. It's very specific, but you cannot measure it because you don't know what you want to do. If you are setting this kind of goal, I would still highly recommend that you make it measurable. Meaning, for example, if I want to look like Henry Cavill in the movie The Man of Steel, assuming that he's got the same kind of body frame, it looks like I need 20 pounds. I need to lose 20 pounds of body fat, and I need to gain several pounds, say 10 pounds of muscle mass to look exactly like him. Then the goal will be specific. I want to look like Henry Cavill in this movie, and it will be measurable because I know exactly how much body fat I have to lose, how much muscle mass I have to gain. Moving to the next 2 letters. Next 2 letters are a little bit confusing, A and R. Confusing because the tool is, again, as I said, quite old, and depending on the field of study or human activity it was used in, these letters were spelled out differently. Originally, letter A stood for assignable, meaning that if you're a manager, you are able to assign your goal to one of your employees or subordinates, and that works perfectly fine in the field of management. But when we're talking about personal goals, body transformation goals, psychotherapy goals actually, there is only one person involved, it's yourself, and it's very difficult to assign it, right? It's impossible. So instead of using the assignable feature, we are using a different word, which is achievable. So every time you set a goal, you must make sure that your goal is, in general, realistically achievable in general or in specific time frame. For example, I weigh 200 pounds and I want to lose 30 pounds. I think it's an achievable goal, it's quite realistic. If I wanted to lose 100 pounds, most likely it wouldn't be achievable in general because then I would simply die if I had lost that much weight. So these are 2 examples of achievable and non-achievable, realistic and unrealistic goals. That moves us to letter R, which again originally meant realistic. But since we introduced the concept of achievable or feature of achievable, which in fact means that the goal is already realistic, having another realistic doesn't make much sense, right? So instead of that, we're using the term relevant, meaning that if you're setting a goal, you must make sure that your intermediate or the goal that you are setting is actually relevant to what you want to achieve in the end of the day. I would like to give you an example of what relevant or irrelevant goal is. For example, I want to lose some weight. I want to lose 30 pounds, and I know for sure that following a strict diet would definitely work. Moreover, I personally believe that's the most cost-effective way of losing weight. But I happen to discuss this problem of mine or goal of mine with a friend of mine, and he tells me that, you know what, I've read so much about jogging. If you start jogging, you will lose a lot of weight because you spend a lot of energy running and your body adjusts to it. So why don't you set a goal of doing half marathon in a half a year? So there are two goals that I can set. I can actually set both, but one of them is relevant, one of them is actually irrelevant. So since my ultimate goal is to lose weight, and the most cost-effective way of doing so would be a diet, the relevant goal would be to follow a strict diet and just don't bother about anything else and just lose some weight. Whereas setting a goal of running a marathon, some sort of athletic performance goal, would be irrelevant. First of all, I don't like jogging. I don't feel like making this huge commitment in order to achieve this secondary goal that I don't really care about. And I know for sure it won't be that cost effective. I would spend way more time jogging, way more effort trying to follow a diet and jog instead of just sticking to a specific diet. So the last letter, T, stands for time or time frame, which simply means that every time you set a goal, you have to make sure that you got a certain time frame for achieving this goal. Say, I want to lose 30 pounds. I have to be sure that I've got enough time to do so. Say half a year is a realistic time frame, and I have to make very specific milestones. Say I want to lose 10 pounds in the first month, and then in the next 5 months I want to lose 4 pounds per month, which in the end of the day will lead me to the total weight loss of 30 pounds. So this already sounds like a good plan, right? So now when we have spelled out all these 5 letters, let us summarize. In order to set a good achievable goal, your goal has to have 5 features. It has to be specific, it has to be realistic, it has to be measurable, it has to be relevant to what you want to achieve in the end of the day, and this goal must have a time frame attached to it. To give you an example, I want to lose 30 pounds in the next half a year. This goal is specific, this goal is measurable because we're talking about number of pounds to be lost. This goal is also properly timed. This goal is realistic because I can lose 30 pounds in a half a year, and it is relevant because my ultimate goal is to have a great physique, and it's virtually impossible without losing a certain amount of body fat and achieving a certain amount of body fat percentage. That leads us to the very next thing I would like to talk to you about. Specifically, I would like to try to convince you that no matter what body transformation goal you have in mind, in the end of the day, it's most cost-effective to actually start with weight loss. And I will spend a great deal of time talking about it in my next video. I hope that today's video was helpful. It was very brief, but still we have covered a very important topic, and I would actually encourage you to take a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil and just invest several minutes, maybe 20-30 minutes of your life, and try to jot out the goal that you would like to achieve ultimately, and to try to put this goal into this framework of SMART. So make it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed. So thank you for watching. I hope you like what you are seeing here on my channel. Please subscribe, show your support, ask questions, leave feedback. Looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys.